Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Brad Lewis with Premier Marketing, and I'm excited today to have you on our webinar. We're going to be covering the client perspective for end-of-life planning, the client worry, and the product solution and the process solution that we have that we want to share with you as well today. So I'm pretty excited. I have a good friend of mine, Allen Pauley, who's the Vice President of Integrity Marketing Group, joining us on the call today. Allen is a featured speaker across the United States. He speaks to thousands every year. A lot of those are our integrity partners that we have out throughout the United States as well. So he has been in the business for a number of years, seasoned veteran, and has helped agents and worked alongside agents helping seniors plan for one of life's biggest obstacles. And today, like I mentioned, Allen and I, we're going to discuss client perspective for end-of-life planning, the worry of the solution. And when Allen and I were talking about this topic and how to go about it, we thought it would be beneficial to share what goes through a client's mind when they reach retirement or are nearing retirement, and what they want to do or talk about in this case as far as planning for end-of-life planning. So Allen, just a little back and forth here, I guess. First of all, thanks for being on the call today.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. I'm excited about being here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You betcha. You betcha. So we want to make an impact on clients in the future and help our agents be successful with them. So one of the things we talked about is thinking about someone reaching their retirement years, usually around that age 65, right? And we know that end-of-life planning hits their mind. What do you think the client's going through at that time? What are they thinking about?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, especially with our agents being in the senior market, Brad. Clients, when they get to that retirement, they're certainly concerned about their future and their current income. And they're also concerned about their health insurance and how that looks. Many of them, of course, are getting on Medicare Advantage, and also expenses. Included in those expenses are final expenses. And the reason I say that is because when you think of somebody that is 65 years or older, chances are almost 100% that they've already planned a funeral for someone. Because if they were they're 65 today and their parents were 30 when they were born, that means their parents would be 95. But the life expectancy is about 78.1. So chances are they've experienced this final expense through a family member, whether it be their parents, their spouse's parents, a sibling, and they know what that means. And many of them do not want to leave that kind of debt to their loved ones.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And because it's, top of mind in this case, and they want to talk about it, right? And even though it's not sometimes a comfortable subject to talk about, they still want to address that need.
Absolutely. And really that's hopefully what we're going to share today, and really something I'm very passionate about as well, to help agents really have this conversation, because their clients are buying final expense. If the agents aren't offering it to them, that means they're buying it from somebody else, because our final expense sales continue to increase every year. And everyone knows that is a need that is going to come true. And so they welcome the conversation. And so hopefully we're going to give some tools and some best practices that agents can implement with what they do on a day-to-day basis to serve their client.
Perfect. And I know you have a lot to share on those topics and how to help agents be successful and make sure we meet the client's needs. But a lot of clients, the first thing they do is explore the choices that they have. And there's a couple different choices they have for end-of-life planning. Can you kind of cover what those look like a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. And that's really another great question, and really a topic that is important for the senior market, because many of them are getting approached or certainly have information regarding a funeral home as one of their choices. It's important for agents to know that if they were going to buy a funeral plan, For example, if they were buying a $10,000 funeral plan from the funeral home, an agent with products that we provide our clients, they can get almost double the coverage, if not more, for the same price they would pay for that $10,000 plan from the funeral home. So if they were buying a $10,000 plan and essentially giving the funeral home $10,000, they could provide the client $20,000 in coverage for the same price. And so it's really important for agents to know that we provide clients more flexibility, because no matter if they move or anything along those lines, the final expense plan will pay out, and it's not tied to a certain funeral home. And no matter what they do, whether they do a funeral home or a cremation, that final expense plan is going to pay out, provides the clients more coverage and better flexibility.
That's a great selling point. That's a great reason to do business with your insurance professional if you're a client looking for final expense or end of life planning. So that's perfect. It's a great segue too, because I know you have a lot of good resources and solutions to share with the producers that are on the call with us today. And I know you're going to jump in and show us where the opportunity is as well. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd love for you to just go through what you have to show us today on not only the opportunity, but also the solution that we have that we use every day at Premier, and the way that we help our agents, either very established agents that are writing a lot of final expense, they use this, or agents that are brand new to talking to their clients about final expense.
Absolutely. And again, thanks for having me today, Brad. And I will just preface this to say I am going to share a lot of information, but any additional questions pertaining to anything that you see on my slides, Brad and his team at Premier Marketing really will provide you a lot of background to this, and even more in-depth conversations about how to plug this in. So I'd welcome anybody that's listening to this, please contact Premier Marketing for additional information. But I'm really passionate about this because it really can help your agents take your business to a new level, adding final expense to what you do. This really is a guide on how to sell final expense. Here's what it can mean to your income. If you as a street agent wrote 2 policies a week and you only did it for 40 weeks, I actually took out the time period during AEP, because many of you on this call do the Medicare Advantage, which is great. But if you just sold 2 policies a week, you could increase your income by over $60,000 by adding final expense. And I'll tell you, your clients you see in the senior market, they are buying final expense. It's just time they start buying it from you. And so hopefully you're going to get some tools today to show you how to have that conversation with your client and take your business to a new level. Stop overthinking it and start over executing. Premier Marketing and their marketers can help you take your business to a new level, adding final expense to what you do. You didn't come this far to only come this far. If you're doing Medicare and Medicare Advantage, that's great. But take your business to a new level. Let those clients know you can serve their need regarding final expense. They're thinking about it, and now you're going to have the solution to help them take care of those final expense needs. GoFundMe is not the new life insurance. It's really important for the agents to know that, because the GoFundMe, first of all, it's not guaranteed. Most GoFundMe accounts only receive about $5,000 when it comes to burial expenses, and average cost for a funeral is over $12,000. The average cost of a cremation in our country is over $7,000, and whoever is receiving that money, it's taxable income. And so really, you have a better solution with the final expense carriers that we have available for your client. The GoFundMe is not the new life insurance. And if you're in the senior market, but you haven't talked to your clients about final expense, this really should resonate with you, because this comes from LIMRA. But if you go back and see your existing clients, clients that know you, clients that have already trusted you, and talk to them about life insurance and final expense, 78% of the time, your clients will buy it from you. You're not going to get a better lead than that. So really go back, see your existing clients, talk to them about final expense. They need your help. Game changer, and what we're going to talk about today is Legacy Safeguard and how to have that conversation with your clients regarding final expense. Well, what is Legacy Safeguard? It's a legacy planning service, end-of-life planning service that can provide your clients a way to be able to leave a lasting legacy to their loved ones, and it's at no cost to your client. Excuse me. And for you as an agent, it is a turnkey sales and marketing system that is proven to increase sales, persistency, and face amounts. Well, Legacy Safeguard all begins with the Legacy Safeguard membership benefits, which are legacy planning services, end-of-life planning guidance and assistance, support for survivors, estate planning support, celebrating life events. Each of those components have some details to it. Please get a hold of Premier Marketing and their marketers to find out more information, because this is a great value-added benefit you can provide your client at no cost to your client, and talk to them about final expense. And so this really is the game changer. We've seen agents make more presentations, close more sales by using the Legacy Safeguard program. The carriers you can use regarding Legacy Safeguard are United of Omaha, Transamerica, some great companies would have a great final expense product available for you as an agent. As an agent with Premier, please go out to this website, www.legacysafeguarduniversity.com, register, use your agent number for United of Omaha to register, and you will have access to all our training materials, online training, videos, marketing guides, client marketing pieces, pre-approach letters for your clients. All of it's available for you out there on the university. Now, what does that mean for you making a presentation? I really want to walk you through some components of how to have this conversation with your clients regarding final expense. The first thing is you've got to get your mind right, because one of the things that's really important when you go to talk to somebody about final expense is, what is that first impression that you're making on your client? What kind of tone of voice are you using? What is your body language? And that is so important, because you might say the right things, but if you do it in a monotone voice, or even a dejected type of without confidence presentation, your clients will hear that. Now, I don't know how many out there have experienced this, but I know I have. I've walked into a place of business, went up to the clerk to do business with them, and immediately I saw or heard that they were either mad at somebody or something, or they didn't want to really work there. Their body language, their tone of voice was immediate to me that they were not happy. Well, your clients see the same thing in you. You only have one chance to make a good first impression, even if it's a existing client, because maybe it's been 6 months since you've been there. You want to make sure that you are presenting yourself in a manner that those clients are going to listen to what you say. And how they hear what you're saying has everything to do with your tone of voice, your body language, and you getting your mind right. So make sure you take a minute, focus on what you want to accomplish with your client, and then go into the client with a very positive attitude, very upbeat, get excited about what you're going to present to them, because they need to have and hear, excuse me, what you're going to share with them. And then when you're talking to them, especially about final expense is not a transactional presentation here. It is an emotional and logical sale. And so 98% of Americans actually make their decisions emotionally first, and then logically justify why they made that decision. That's really true when it comes to final expense. And so you have to bring the emotion of the client into that presentation. Do not just give them quotes. If you give them a quote as an agent, they're just going to use that information against you because, see, when you give them that quote and you've not really talked to them about final expense, they're not emotionally involved. And so they'll take that information and use it really against you. And many times you will not close that sale. And so as you're talking to them, and that's what you're going to hear today, is the stories sell, facts will tell. So it's important to tell those facts, but it's also important to tell stories with your facts to help bring your clients along with the need regarding final expense. And you're going to hear that today in this presentation. And then when you get to the kitchen table, you want to pull out that brochure regarding Legacy Safeguard. And you want to go through the Legacy Safeguard membership benefits that are right there on that brochure. And all of that's available on that university. And I know Premier Marketing and their marketers can help you get this material. And then you want to sign them up. So sign them up for this legacy planning service that doesn't cost the client anything. Right now, we have a paper enrollment is what you see on the screen. We're working on an electronic enrollment. That'll be coming later. But right now, you have to fill this out with your client's information at the top, provided your information at the bottom, and then have the clients sign that. And then you can email it to us or fax it to us, whichever is easier for you. And in about 10 days, your clients will get their membership packet. Now, as an agent, I would recommend you sign up for this as well, because it'll help you understand the program even better, and it makes you have a better discussion with your clients because you're going to realize what these benefits really are and how it can help your clients leave the kind of legacy they want to leave to their loved ones. Now, once you've done that, we want you to transition. So whatever your discussion has been up to this point, we want you to transition into a final expense discussion. And we have a great phrase that helps you do just that. It goes like this. Bob and Mary, we believe part of leaving a lasting legacy is protecting your family from the unexpected cost and the burden of your final expenses. Now, the reason this is so impactful is because the way it's worded, it helps bring your client into the emotional part of the need regarding final expense. Because as we said earlier, most of your clients, if they're 65 years or older, they've already experienced this unexpected cost and burden of final expenses. And so now you're going to have them think about it in their terms as well. So you making this statement, we believe part of leaving a lasting legacy is protecting your family from the unexpected cost and the burden of your final expenses, will help them really start thinking about what that looks like for them. And you have the solution with the final expense carriers that we provide. Now, they may say to you, hey, I've already got this taken care of, Alan. I have life insurance. You need to welcome that response, because when they make that response, my response and your response should be something like this. Bob, Mary, that's great to hear. My most successful clients had life insurance just like you, but they also needed final expense insurance. And let me tell you why. Your life insurance will pay out, but in order for your life insurance to pay out, in most cases, it's going to take a death certificate. To get a death certificate takes 3 or 4 weeks from the state. Then you're going to mail it into the carrier. Many times the carrier has up to 60 days to pay that claim. In the meantime, the funeral home or the crematory want their money right up front. Final expense can, the carriers I work with final expense will pay their death benefit out within 24 to 48 hours without a death certificate. And that takes the burden off your family having to come up with that $12,000 or $18,000 regarding final expenses, because they will pay out within 24 to 48 hours. You can contact Premier Marketing and their marketers, and they can tell you which carriers will pay that out within 24 to 48 hours. But it's important for you to know that so you can respond to that and give them a solution to take care of their final expenses. And so say this, part of leaving a lasting legacy is protecting your family from the unexpected cost and the burden of your final expenses. And then you want to talk to them about why people are looking at final expense insurance. And so, Bob and Mary, as the independent field underwriter for your area, I'm out here working with clients just like you, helping them with their final expense needs. And three reasons always seem to come up when it comes to final expense. One is they want to cover their final expenses. Now, Bob and Mary, what that looks like is the average cost of a funeral is over $12,000. If you include family debt, it's over $18,000. My clients want to make sure those final expenses are taken care of and not left to their loved ones as part of their legacy. Does that make sense to you? The second reason people look at life insurance and final expense is that they want to replace some loss of income, because when someone passes away, maybe that Social Security just got reduced or goes away, or the pension that they have just goes away or it gets reduced. We want to make sure that you can mourn properly, that you don't have to be concerned with your budget, and that you can take care of these final expenses, even though something may have changed in your income. Does that make sense to you? The other reason people look at having final expense is they want to leverage their legacy. In other words, they want to leave some money to their loved ones or the people they care about, or maybe even an organization as part of their legacy. If they can leave a tax-free benefit to the people they care about as part of their legacy, they want to do that. Does that make sense to you? Now, Bob and Mary, as we look at these three top reasons and the people I help regarding their final expenses, which one of those is most important to you? Now, I'm going to step away from that for a second, because as you heard me say that, I didn't just state those three reasons. I painted a picture with each one of them so my client can kind of live in that moment in their own situation and realize the need regarding final expense is real. And we want to also find out what's important to them. And so when I say which one of these is most important to you, I'm going to remain silent, because I want them to live in that moment and then hear what they have to say, because that information will be something I'll use at the end of my presentation when I'm talking to them really about the close as I go through this presentation. Then I want to be able to estimate a plan for them. And so we have created a finalexpenseestimator.com, and we break final expenses into three categories. One being the funeral expenses, which are the expenses that happen at the funeral home or the cemetery. The other expense is the family expenses, which are expenses that still come due even though somebody passes away, which could be rent, mortgage, credit card debt, hospital bills, doctor bills, taxes, anything that they have as family expenses. What I normally do is look at what their monthly expenses are, and then I take it out 90 days, or if it requires, I take it out a little longer. But then whatever those numbers are, I add those together, equaling their total final expenses. But I want to personalize this plan for them. And so part of the legacy program is we have a worksheet that helps the clients visually see what they are estimating their final expenses to be, so they can see the need regarding the coverage that's appropriate for them. And so I'm going to walk through this worksheet with them. Now, as you're walking through this with your client, it's important to note the numbers on here have to be from your client. They can't be from you as the agent. If they're yours, this plan will not be personal to your client. So walk through this with your client to find out what they're thinking about regarding final expense. That final expense estimator can help you do that. And as you see in the example today, we see the funeral expenses are estimated to be $10,640. The family expenses are estimated to be $66,000, and the total final expenses are $16,640. During this process, I'm also going to find out how old my clients are, because as you see on the sheet, I'm going to plug it into the appropriate category. And then under that, I'm going to put what the monthly premium is for each one of those. And then I'm going to close the sale once I put this in there and they are visually seeing it. My close goes like this. Bob and Mary, as we walk through the final expenses, we see your family expenses are $6,000. Your funeral expenses are $10,640. Your total final expenses are $16,640. In order to make sure the burden of these final expenses are taken care of and not left to your loved ones, which one of these best meets your budget. And then you got to remain silent, because see, what you're doing is giving your client choices, and you're going to see which one can best meet their budget. And when they decide on one, you're going to go right into the assumptive close and start filling out that application. And the reason you want to do that, you don't want to make the same mistake I made when I was an agent early on, because I used to ask for permission and I would talk myself right out of a sale. You want to go right into the assumptive close. Over 80% of your clients will let you close the sale just like you started, and you're providing them the coverage that they need, but within the price in which they can afford. But once you close the sale and gone through the application, you're not done. You need to ask for referrals. The biggest reason agents don't get referrals is because you don't ask. And so I'm going to give you a great way to ask for referrals, because it's a great way to keep down your marketing costs, but grow your business all at the same time. 91% of your customers and your clients say they give you referrals, but only 11% of you are even going to ask for them. We're going to show you how to effectively do that in just a minute. Your ability to ask for referrals is a direct reflection on your belief in what you do. You have a great opportunity to serve your clients, because see, everybody is going to pass away and nobody gets out of here free. You have a great solution to help your clients. And you know what? They have friends and family that you can help too. And so ask for referrals. And here's how you do it using the Legacy Safeguard program. Bob and Mary, we believe part of leaving a lasting legacy is helping others leave one too. Now that you're a member of Legacy Safeguard, you can sponsor up to 6 people to receive the same free Legacy Safeguard membership benefits that you just received. Who might you know that would like to leave a lasting legacy to their loved ones? And then you have that paper you see on the screen available where they can list 6 people. Now, I have an agent friend of mine that uses this religiously. Now, how he does it is he presents that to them, but then he takes it back and says, you know what, Bob and Mary, I can't see 6 people. I'm so busy that there's no way, even if you gave me 6 people, I can't do that. And so he crosses out the bottom 2, gives it back to his client, and says, but give me your top 4. He says every time he does that, he gets 4 referrals. This program really can help you take your business to a new level, adding final expense to what you do. It really helps you help your client and the people they know regarding final expenses. This quote, I love this quote. Are the habits you have today on par with your dreams you have for tomorrow? This is Michael Jordan as a pro, looking at Michael Jordan as a college player, asking him, are the habits you have today on par with your dreams for tomorrow? That's true for every single one of you listening to this webinar. Are your habits on par for what you want to achieve in this business? Because see, you can achieve whatever you want in this business. It's all up to you. The habits that you have today will impact what your dreams are for tomorrow. Premier Marketing, their marketers can give you even more detailed information on how to be successful talking to your clients about final expense. Your clients are buying final expense. It's time they start buying it from you. Brad, thank you very much. Let me know if there's any questions or anything you would like to add.
You bet, Alan. Thank you. That was awesome. You always do a great job. It's always very informational and adds a lot of extra to the conversation when we talk about what the agent can do and how they can help their clients. So I just have a couple questions here, but there are more maintenance questions here. But we do have the slide presentation. We'll have a recording of this that we'll share with everybody that registered for the call today. So that'll be coming out. And as far as William asked a question about telesales, there's some additional information we can provide for telesales that will help with the process of this. and we'll definitely get that out to you as well. So, because we know a lot of agents have gone with the digital world, are selling over the phone now. So we'd like to help with that also. Allen, again, thank you very much for being on the call today. I know our goal at Premier is to help agents grow their overall book of business and to add to their bottom line so they can be more successful. And by adding final expense and using some of the techniques and the resources that Allen talked about today, we know you can get there with it using final expense to help grow your business. We have one of the most, if not the most experienced marketing staff in the business. All of our people have been here. I think our youngest guy of the group will be here 10 years this year, but most of our people have been with us 10 plus years, 15, 17, 18 years. So they're very, very experienced. They know the right product for the right situation. They know Legacy Safeguard and the system itself and how to use it. And their overall agent experience. They work with agents every day that are successful. So we know we can help you if you're new to the business. And if you haven't seen Legacy Safeguard in the past, we've just rebranded it and brought it back out again under a little bit of a new look, and it looks awesome. Don't you think, Allen?
Yes, yeah, it really does lend for the client a lot of great benefits they would not otherwise get at no cost.
Yeah, it's a great system that's been around for a long time, but we keep retooling it to make it better and to freshen it up as well. So, but like I said, Allen, thanks for being on the call today. Really, really appreciate it. Our contact number at Premier is 800-365-8208. All you got to do is call in, ask for a final expense manager, and they'd be happy to help you get on your way selling final expense with Premier. Thanks, everybody, for being on the call. Allen, thanks again, and have a great day.
Thanks, Brad.